Many foreign investors and companies operating in Vietnam rely on non-disclosure agreements to protect sensitive information. On paper, these agreements look comprehensive, but the real question is not how an NDA is drafted. It is how Vietnamese courts handle NDA disputes in practice. Because when a breach occurs, your protection depends entirely on enforceability. Vietnamese courts do not enforce NDAs automatically. Instead, they examine several key factors before recognizing a breach. First, whether the information qualifies as confidential under Vietnamese law. Second, whether the company took reasonable steps to protect that information. And third, whether there is clear evidence that the defendant disclosed or misused it. Without satisfying all three elements, enforcement becomes difficult. In many NDA disputes in Vietnam, the first challenge is definition. Courts often require a clear and specific description of what constitutes confidential information. Generic or overly broad clauses may not be sufficient. For example, simply stating, "all company information is confidential" may lack enforceability. Instead, courts tend to favor agreements that identify categories such as client data, trade secrets, technical know-how, or financial information. Precision increases your chances of protection. One of the most overlooked aspects is this. Even if you have a well-drafted NDA, you must show that the information was actually protected in practice. Vietnamese courts may ask questions such as, was access to the data restricted? Were there internal policies in place? Was the information clearly marked as confidential? If your company treats sensitive data casually, it becomes harder to argue that it deserves legal protection. In NDA disputes, the burden of proof lies primarily with the claimant. This means your company must demonstrate that a breach occurred. In practice, this can be challenging. You need evidence showing that the former employee or partner accessed specific information and then used or disclosed it improperly. Indirect suspicion is not enough. Courts generally require concrete and traceable evidence. Even if a breach is proven, courts will also assess whether actual damage occurred. This includes financial loss, loss of clients, or competitive disadvantage. Without clear evidence of damage, compensation may be limited. In some cases, companies succeed in proving a breach but fail to recover meaningful damages. This highlights the importance of linking the breach to measurable business impact. Disputes involving employees are particularly complex in Vietnam. Courts often balance the employer's right to protect confidential information with the employee's right to work. If an NDA is too restrictive or unclear, it may be interpreted narrowly. This is why many NDA disputes fail, not because the concept is invalid, but because the agreement is not aligned with local legal principles. In real cases, several recurring issues appear. Some NDAs are too vague to be enforceable. Others lack clear evidence of breach. In some situations, companies fail to demonstrate that the information was properly protected. And in others, damages cannot be quantified. These gaps weaken the overall claim, even when there is a legitimate concern. To increase the chances of enforcement, companies should take a practical approach. This includes drafting clear and specific confidentiality clauses, implementing internal data protection measures, and maintaining records of access and usage. It also involves aligning contracts with Vietnamese law rather than relying on foreign templates. An NDA is not just a document. It is part of a broader legal and operational framework. For foreign investors in Vietnam, NDA disputes can directly affect business value. Confidential information often includes client relationships, pricing strategies, and proprietary processes. If these are not properly protected, the competitive position of the business may be weakened. Understanding how Vietnamese courts approach these disputes is essential for risk management. At LTS Law, we support foreign investors and companies in Vietnam not only in drafting NDAs, but also in ensuring they are enforceable in practice. This includes reviewing contractual terms, advising on internal compliance, and preparing for potential dispute scenarios. Our focus is on bridging the gap between legal drafting and real-world enforcement. An NDA in Vietnam is not just about what is written. It is about what you can prove. Before relying on any confidentiality agreement, it is essential to understand how courts will interpret and enforce it. Visit lts.com.vn to consult with our legal team and ensure your NDA strategy in Vietnam is built for real-world protection.